What's up, everybody? We are now live.
What up? What up?
Always
Another
bent.
week. I can't see myself. Why can't I see myself?
You're not in the screen.
It's becoming a common theme. I need to be able to see myself.
Here, you are now.
That's
Sorry. This is what you really need to look at here.
There we go.
But all right.
What up, everybody?
We're back. Another live stream.
I'm gonna text
The Wednesday night live stream.
Facebook that I'm live. I'm gonna put
We'll let some people get in here. I can see the chat.
Just to inspire some people. Maybe in a video.
This is just to look at the chat down here.
I gotta find a video real quick.
But what's up, guys? Gonna talk about some fishing tonight. We're also gonna be talking about some SST shots, how we use them, and show you guys some
Facebook
photos from this summer, and when we were using the satellite shots to find the water.
It's being ignorant right
Just
now.
holding the fish. Jeff just got his phone back. He hasn't had it.
Crazy,
the old one's in the bay.
I just had a good video I was going to put up
somewhere right down here. Right around here.
I got a good video somewhere. Here we go. Okay. We opt in then.
Going to be talking about SST shots and a little bit of everything, really. Do some Q&A. If you want to hop in the chat and ask a question, you're always more than welcome to do that, too.
I'm going to be coming back with you guys. Hold on. Trying to post something on my social media so people know I'm live.
Yeah, well, we want to give people a minute to get in here anyways.
This phone's tripping out.
Wednesday night. How's everybody doing? We're hanging out. Trying to find the next weather window when we can fish here.
That's not easy.
We fished. We went out in the snow. We got some footage of that. Unfortunately, couldn't find a fish. The tide was just not the right tide, but it was fun. Beautiful.
There we go.
Beautiful shots in the snow. We got a good amount, but it's already gone. Already melted. Let's see here.
YouTube now.
That's Friday. Oh, wait. That's Thursday.
Taylor and I
Gonna be a little windy tomorrow.
Live on YouTube now.
We are live now.
I just did the reel for attention. I'm going to write that.
Friday's going to be nice, but I'm going skiing this weekend. That's another thing, so that'll be fun. Should be some fresh powder up there, hopefully.
YouTube, how do I give, is there a link I can give somebody?
Yep. I think I sent it to you. I can send it to you again real quick.
Or can you just give it to, put it right here? I just want to put it right here.
Not that easily, but I can send it to you real quick. And then we can copy and paste it.
We're just getting warmed up, you know?
Yeah.
This is all part of the experience.
Welcome to the Always Bent Wednesday night live stream. We're hanging out.
Can I put that in here too, I wonder? I bet I can.
Well, it'll say that already.
Cool.
Here, now just go up to your text. Yeah, copy and paste it. That'll be the easiest way. But yeah, we'll get into the SST charts here in a minute. Let me actually pull up those photos because that might be... Well, I don't know. Depending on what order you want to talk about stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about it, but hold on. Taylor and I want to make sure it makes sense.
Yeah. You're good. We got 9 people in here now. Woo! What's up, guys?
What up, what up? Live on YouTube.
Yep.
So tonight we're going to talk about, we were like, what are we going to talk, we first were like, what are we going to talk about? So we can't keep talking about the same crap. We can talk about Taylor's and I's trials and tribulations this week. It's been awful weather. So before we get into that, let's just kind of talk about that real quick. It's been awful weather, but it's not for a lack of trying. I think him and I, we're going to work hard on we got a lot of footage of not catching anything, but we did get some really sick footage yesterday in the snowstorm. We went out. And we were like, this would be so cool to catch some fish in the snow, just stripers in the bay. But I mean, damn, when we got out there, I feel like it was like the the gnarliest part of the weather that we had.
Yeah, I'm actually here. I can show a little tiny
Yeah,
clip
show something.
real
It'd be
quick.
cool. Like us, like yeah, when we were like running, like that's what I was thinking in my head.
Oh, on the
like,
boat?
Yeah, like dude, it was gnarly. Like I couldn't even see anything without using the radar. Like I was using the radar the whole time, and there was probably like when we got to Mills Island, there was probably like 4 inches of snow on the windshield. I had Taylor halfway through it too, like brushing it off. I was afraid it was gonna blow in, but it was no wind at all. It was beautifully calm. I mean, absolutely calm. Not a speck of wind. The only like ripple on the water was from the tide moving, which is what any fisherman in the bay. I feel like I'm speaking porn language to any fisherman. It's like, got nothing but bunch of ripples on the water of tide, buddy. It's like, all right, I want to go.
It was cool.
Take me to it.
It was cool being
But yeah,
out
make sure it's not too loud. Is it not too loud?
No.
Okay. Can I see myself again, or is that possible?
Yeah, you're on there. It's hard to see everything at once.
I don't care. I want to see that. I want to see what they're seeing. You know what I mean? We've already seen that.
Yeah, you can look down here too.
Okay. I don't want to look down there. I want to look at what we're them. You know, I want to address the audience.
We can. I got to get this thing out of the way.
That's
sometimes.
fine. Yeah, that's fine when you have to get it out of the way. But like when you put a video up, I want to like leave it there so I can see it because I'll go nuts. I'll talk about am I in the screen or not, and I don't want to hear myself say that again. But either way, it was really fun this week trying to catch fish. I literally caught one fish behind my house, and it was a grind, man. Like I was out there. Taylor never will say no, but like it's just convenient for me because I live on the water. So I go down to the end of the road. There's a big point there, and I caught one down there this week. But yeah, this is now where like that was a public landing. Like you couldn't even see like where you lead, like the inlet to the bay from public landing, like the boat ramp right there, which is pretty crazy, man. Like. It's not that far. It's maybe 150, 200 yards tops.
Yeah, it was
But when we got out on the bay, there was zero visibility, man. Like, God, like that video, like doesn't
it's the same one again. But
I don't know if it does it much
justice.
But like, I was just staring at the radar at that point. I was like, you wouldn't have been able to be out there
without radar. It would have been tough.
I mean, not in that bay, man. It's anywhere without radar for that matter. Stupid running around like that, but you can see with your radar. But yeah, Taylor got really good. This is when my phone was in the drink. I honestly, that was part of my trials and tribulations this week. Like I went down to Greenbackville on Sunday just to fish from shorelines and stuff, and I found a sweet spot, and of course I dropped my phone in the water and couldn't find it. And I looked everywhere for my phone. I was like crawling on my hand. If people saw me, I don't know if I was by myself or anybody saw me, but if anybody saw me, they'd be like, this guy's absolutely lost his mind. I was like screaming at the rocks, like, what the fuck? And then I was like, I have, like, when I get mad, I got like Superman weird strength. And I was like throwing these huge boulders out of the way, like trying to find my phone. And I didn't have any communication. I was by myself, so I was like, what the frick do I do besides look for my phone? So I went back to my truck, regrouped myself. I'm like, all right, Jeff. I'm like, you got to calm down a little bit. Getting mad doesn't do anything for the situation. I'm talking to myself here. Like this is me talking to myself, and I'm like, getting mad doesn't do anything for the situation. You got to calm down and find this phone. So I was like, did some kumbaya shit. I was like. Breathing, trying to calm down, and I go down to these rocks again, and the more I look, the more I'm getting mad, and I'm just getting more mad again. I'm like, I lost my phone, and sure enough, get back to my house. Amanda's like, I was hoping you were all right. Your phone was showing you were like washed offshore off of Greenbackville, and I was like, yeah, I'm not. My phone is my phone's in the drink. But the really funny thing is which I don't know. I'm just on some crazy shit, but like I think that is crazy to me. My phone, like on the location, unless the location was just off, but like it was so specific. It like knew, like it said right where I was, and like it was showing me being like 300, 400 yards.
Turn your mic a little bit.
What?
Turn your mic a little bit. Perfect.
300, 400 yards from the location I was fishing is where my phone was saying it was, and it was just nuts.
I should pull that up. I have a little screenshot of where the
yeah,
phone
you should.
was in the bay.
That's like ridiculous. Like I was not even near where I was fishing, like where the phone said it was. Like
it's almost like you got swept in the current or something.
I had to be, man. Like unless like somebody did not want me to have my phone that day and they just picked it up while I wasn't looking back at the truck.
Yeah.
Which these days is I feel like is possible. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like that. That's where I ended up. Yeah.
Phone in the drink. But yeah,
I got one at the Jack Spot, one at the Washington Canyon now, and one in Greenbackville. That's my
I've
third.
lost two in the bay myself.
I always say to everybody, I'd say they're like, hey, I lost my phone. They're like, damn, that sucks. I'm like, yeah, it's not my first, and it will not be my last that I'll lose in the water. I'm like, I'm always happy that it's me, the phone, and not me that gets lost. You know what I mean?
Right. What's up, Clay?
That would suck.
Clay said, yo.
Tell him, what up? Clay.
But yeah, we're going to...
Is he in here, Clay Ducks?
I think. I don't know if this is why Clay's...
Ask if it's Clay Ducks.
No, he'll hear you.
Dude, if it is, we should join him in on the video in a little bit. He'll come talk to us. He's cool.
Yeah,
He's Alex's buddy.
Set that up. But do you want to go into some of the rip charts?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to kind of finish up here. So yeah, we really worked hard to get a lot of footage this week, and I think Taylor and I are gonna buckle down. And it's not gonna be the most fun to watch as far as catching, but it's like action packed as far as us trying really hard and showing you guys like what we look for.
It's real of what fishing's like this time of year.
And what fishing's like. I mean, like I'm not gonna wait around for somebody else to tell me the fish showed up. I'll tell you that. So you guys know me well enough. You know I'm not waiting around for somebody to say, "Oh, are they there yet? Are the fish around?" Because I'm not that guy. I'm gonna be the guy that's like, I'm gonna go until they show up because I know these fish are on patterns and they do the same stuff year after year.
Yep.
And honestly, like I'm getting down to the point now where I'm like, it's got to be like on this. So it's full moon right now, or isn't it yesterday? Full moon, just a full moon. I feel like it wasn't it just a full moon? Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like after 7 days, so I'm gonna do some crazy stuff here. I feel like the next 7 days, as soon as these temperatures rebound, I have a feeling that these bass are gonna fire off. That's my feeling. After the full moon, I feel like if the full moon was last night, a couple more days we got to have like some weather in like the upper 40s, low 50s, which it looks like we're going to. Like, I mean, I've looked at the weather; it looks pretty decent, temperature wise. I have a feeling that it's going to be like end of this week. We're going to start seeing some numbers of stripers show up. Like, and I know that I was actually looking today. I know that they're over on the big girls are over in the middle of the bay right now, and the guys are doing pretty well on the fish over there right now. I saw that. So I mean, I just something like you and I. It's always cool chasing these fish around our place, and we got an experiment. And we're gonna get an answer. We're gonna get a keeper, which I should have measured that one that I caught behind my house the other night. That was, and the one I caught at Mills.
It was every bit of they were 27, I think.
They were really nice
26,
fish.
If not 28.
Maybe even keepers. I don't know. We didn't measure them, but we're gonna get a nice slot fish.
Yeah, they're gonna
that's fat, and we're gonna keep it, and we're gonna cut it open on camera, and show you guys these eggs. Because I promise you, like I've caught a couple last year, and I was like, this fish is pregnant. This fish is pregnant. But I caught them a little later. Like this is still early. But I started catching them, I think, like now. Like that, it was the day before Valentine's Day that I started banging them up last year. So, I mean, that's tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Right on schedule. So, we'll see. I mean, you've already gotten two. So, hopefully
yeah, but it's just not, you know what I mean, dude? I go down to that spot, dude, and I smoke them, dude. Like
Clay with a super chat. It is him.
It is?
What's up? Yeah.
Dude, hell yeah, dude. Clay, what up, bro?
We can, well, I'll have to set that up after we talk about the, we'll do that at the end.
Do what?
If you hang around, or if you want to try and get him on.
He'll come on whenever, dude. Like, I got his number.
How close are you fishing around the 90 bridge?
Dude, the 90 bridge is probably the spot to go right now, honestly. Like, I like fishing my banks. Like, I just don't like the 90 bridge because it's just not, like, a lot of places to check. It's not my personal preference. I feel like it's just, like, they're on the flats up there or they're right near the pilings, the spans.
Yeah, well, I got intel recently.
They are smoking them. Taylor and his buddies have been smoking them there. I mean, they're...
Well, we did good back before the cold snap. Then we went after the cold snap, couldn't find them. Our one buddy Mike did get one keeper off the marsh, but then Brian went out and found him in open water between the marsh and the bridge.
A cool guy,
so
man. I like him. I gave him a big slice of tuna one night on the way home. But
yeah, he's cool. And I was just saying, you just gotta think outside the box. You know, sometimes if they're not right there on the structure at the bridge, or they're not off the banks of the marsh, they might be in that open water between.
I have been like fishing so much lately. Like, we've been paying attention to like where the water's warming up on each day, like each kind of day. Like, we'll get, like, you get a couple days that are sunny and like warm. Like, dude, you go to these shallow flats back here, they're 10 degrees warmer than the bay. And then it's like the opposite effect when you get these cold fronts on this time of year still in these shallow areas. Like, it gets really cold really fast, like we found out yesterday. And I've learned, like, you just gotta, it's really this time of year, I feel like when the water gets cold, like, or like they get those cold fronts, it's still too early for them to be in that unpredictable flat, like 3 to 4 to 5 feet water. Like, they want to be where it's consistently like 5-6 feet or more, you know. And that's my feeling with the cold fronts. I feel like when you get those warmer trends, like 3 days in a row, like, go and start looking up in 3 feet of water, 4 feet of water, man. Like, these fish, those stripers, they'll come right up on the shoreline after a couple nice sunny warm days. You know, that we catch them right on the banks. Like,
yeah, and I'm sure they can't go too far, especially some of these residential fish. And even down here is a little different than up at 90, but it is interesting just following the trends and where we find them. And
Taylor and I did go back to like down to like Virginia, like the Assateague Island side of Virginia, and went back. Like, him and I always wanted to try this. Excuse me. Really deep hole that's back there that we found. Like, it's this huge like cut. It's really deep, and we fished it, and it was just so cold and windy that day. Like, I don't know, it was one of those cold front-ish days where it's like the water isn't trending warm. I feel like when like the water is trending warm, not trending cold, I feel like that's the days you catch the stripers this time of year in good numbers. Like, when you get those warming trends, not the cooling trends, you know. And that's just my feeling. This is all from fishing the Chincoteague Bay. Like, I'm not talking Chesapeake. I'm talking fishing back here. You know, I know those fish are in big schools in the Chesapeake right now. Like, you find the big ones, you're gonna be on the big ones. You know. So.
Yeah, and here it seems like whenever it's like 39 or under 40 degrees, it's a little trickier than if you can get 41, 42, even 45. You know, that's when we've had the lights out fishing days.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Maybe that's something with the warming trends, or I don't know. But
like, just because you're seeing, like, my point is, and I think Taylor is alluding to, is like, you're seeing those 39-degree temperatures on the bay cruising, and you're like, oh, it's cold. Think about, like, use your brain, be like, all right, well, where would the warmer water be on this day? Like, oh, it's midday, like, the sun's been heating this area most of the day today. You know, it hasn't heated this side of the bay because it's been shady. You know, it's been getting direct sunlight on this side. Like, let's go check out this side of the bay where those fish know that. They live in this. So they're like, oh, we want to go to the sun too. Like, you ever like get in the beach and you're just like right in the direct sunlight, you feel it. Like, and then if you like don't get in directly, it's like a lot cooler. It's the same with fish. Like they feel those warming and cooling trends just like we do, and I think that finding those warm spots are your freaking honey holes this time of year, you know, and that's why I feel like 90's so productive is because it's a big flat like that's got some deep water around it. Like 90's an island. Like if you look at a map, like it's an island right there.
Yep.
And I mean, it's just a bank of an island there originally. And that's why those fish love it. Like when it gets warmer, they'll come up onto that shallow flat. When it's colder, they're like, oh, F this, it's getting cold. They got that the more stable, deep water to hold them, you know? And that's just my feeling. I'm no professional, but I really want to be.
Yeah, right. Well, we're out there doing it. Yeah. And Clay, we will get you down here one day. He said he'll have to get down here one day, and for sure
I've been
we'll make it happen.
100 million times. He knows that.
But yeah, and we can even. I forgot I had this pulled up. We can even see some
like
of the.
Before we go into the offshore, this is more like right now, kind of. I mean, pretty cool. Like, so I mean, like you could show them like our spot. I mean, Mills Island's no freaking secret.
I think that's Mills right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can see why Mills is productive this time of year. Like, zoom out, or I guess they can see it, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, Mills is a tip of a point right on the stem of the bay, like where it's deep, consistently deep water in our bay. When I say deep, I mean over 6 feet deep. Like, there's over 6 foot of water out by Mills and out past there and down by Greenbackville and all over to the... You know, there's a sandbar to the north and south, but right out there, right across from Mills, you can go directly to the eastern shore from there. So it's deep all the way across. So
there's a lot of good spots throughout both sides too, like down here in Greenbackville where your phone is.
Where we went the other day with Willie, like go south of the Greenbackville.
Oh yeah.
Like go all the way down to like the mouth of the like creek, all the way to that one right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like zoom in right there. If they like that creek right there. Like we didn't have a lot of time to spend, but like that is a sick spot. Like work those. Like there's a really go to that bend. See that bend in that go back in that creek. No, where we just were. Show them that spot next. But if you that bend right there, it's like 30 foot of water, and then you get up on that flat right there. And it goes to like 5 feet, right, 4 feet, 3 feet, and it's even to the right there, right here. It's right there, Taylor, show them. It's even like shallower, like a foot. And man, that water just freaking zooms in and off that flat there. We didn't have a lot of time to spend. Like I said, we were committed on Mills that day. We didn't have all day, so we're like, we're not going to, dick off on these other spots. But
yeah, but there's a lot.
That's a lot of potential down there.
And then like right along here,
and then where you were going to show them, like moving up there a little bit, like we were working that next point up.
This island looks
to
good.
The left over here. We were working.
Yep.
Remember you loved this
good.
Spot. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying for the future too. Like somewhere down in here looks good too. This point, this little island bank, because this all looks like deep water.
It's hard.
This looks
I gotta
shallow.
follow. I should have followed that guy like that. If you do go down there, like stay along the shoreline.
Yeah, well, you can kind of see.
Yeah.
Like, this looks sketchy. One little tiny channel in there.
Yeah, I would not recommend going that way. Like,
staying out here.
Stay along the bank, here, and you can always turn around. But, like, it gets shallow down there, Taylor. Like, and even those maps.
Over here looks shallow.
You got to be with, like, I don't fish that island in the middle of Chincoteague a lot. Between the Chincoteague Bay and actual Chincoteague a lot, like that big island area.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone down there, my little boat a lot, but like even my 24-footer, like I don't want to bang. There's a lot of oysters down there compared, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'll end up smashing my lower unit on something, and I don't want to do that. That's the cool thing about the Chincoteague. Like people worry about it, but if you got a boat, can they see me? Or is that like
you're right here.
I feel like I'm like cut out.
That's just down here.
All right. Like the Chincoteague Bay, like you don't really got to worry about like hitting stuff for the most part, unless it's like we call them ghosts. You got to worry about like hitting crab traps that are not marked. But like other than that, it's a lot of sand and mud. You get back on Assateague, yeah, you'll get some oysters, but there's not much hard crap you can hit, you know? So, I mean, I don't ever really worry about running my boat around down there because like I've been a lot of places, and the only thing I've hit that's really hard are crab traps that aren't marked.
Right.
And other than that, I haven't. But yeah, that area right there, that back country right there. See where it says that back country? That camp. That's a deep. So you can take that channel right there, go up in there, past that. No, like up in here. Mm-hmm. All the way. You could take that channel. Whoops. You could take that channel all the way up and around. Me and Taylor took this thing all the way up and around, and we ended up getting on some lost and catching some stripers in that backcountry somewhere, like on those creeks and canals. When the tide's up, remember that day?
Yep.
We found them in like a foot of water and like on this little.
All up here, like here.
Yeah. That was more
the
spots you showed me. I've been up there a couple times, but he fishes way more up there.
Up in here, and then we went back.
I fished that one. Yeah, I fished up there before, up by the campground on Nassateague. There, all that backcountry there. Yeah,
But right down south of here, this is a sick area. Me and you did do this one day. We came. I think it was up here north of Tingles.
Dude, remember when we found all those stripers back there in that one little spot?
Yeah.
We came in through that. We came in really far to the south, went through that whole creek on the back country, like this creek right here. We went all the way through this back creek, dude, the whole way.
It was super flooded.
And we found this like little like flat that was like had like 2 foot of water around it, and this was like, I mean, it was maybe a foot of water. And these fish were stacked up on it, man. Like, the problem was it was so shallow. Like, you didn't have a ton of opportunities at them. You only had a couple. Remember, we only had a couple. And we gotta fix the damn. And I remember too, man. Like, we're being so stupid and lazy about that.
Oh yeah, we will.
We're going to Florida in a couple weeks, and we haven't even fixed that. It's not hard. I got all the parts. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, we just gotta set a day aside to do that. But remember when it was a real high tide and we snuck in here through this and got back into here, and it was so deep,
dude.
Like I guarantee you, there's
we didn't catch anything back there, back in that creek, but that was our goal. We're like, there's gotta be a way to get back there.
And then we got out this way, I think.
Yeah,
or maybe even this way.
But like that little hole back there is because that one to the north of Jim's Gut. See that one to the north of Jim's Gut? Mm-hmm. That little
this one.
No, this one right here.
Or this one maybe. Yeah.
I got videos, me, you, and Jamie busting them up.
Oh yeah,
that's
right.
Like we were smoking them that day. Like the incoming tide right there, just the water just smokes in there.
Yeah, it was that one. We snuck up in here.
Yeah, dude, the fish come up, like that water comes in on that incoming tide so damn hard, dude. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But the outgoing's worthless there. There's not a lot of water to push us out of there. The incoming's the spot to be there. Now, Jim's Gut, on the other hand, the outgoing on Jim's Gut's badass because, like, look at all that creek. Mm-hmm. Look at all that drainage off of Jim's Gut, dude. Like, all that shit drains to Jim's Gut, which I think's, like, in my opinion, that's what you want to see for an outgoing tide. Like, you want a lot of water draining, a lot of spots where fish can stop and ambush and set up, you know, and chill and get out of the current, or, like, you know, not out of the current, but out of, like, the rip, so to speak, but still be in deeper water.
Just ambush and stalk food.
Spots,
Yep.
And then that island, you know, we fished that island this year. That island was productive. This point was productive this year.
Yep. Even over here, I think we caught a couple.
Oh, yeah. That was a great spot this year. That was our best spot, honestly, on the eastern shore.
What was out here? I feel like we caught one out here one time.
Yeah, that's Eagle. Well,
there's all kinds of spots.
I forgot what it's actually called. I think it's actually called Pirate Island, but I call it Eagle Island.
Pirate Islands, yeah.
Pirate Island, yeah. I call it Eagle. No, I do call that one Pirate. I call the Big Bay Eagle. That's Big Bay right there.
But there's all kind of cool spots.
I love this. Is our flat. That's our flat right back there. Where we fish. There's little like, I mean, you can see both of them. You look at the maps, but like that's the kind of stuff you want to see. Like you can see the draining, like that water getting ripped off of that on the outgoing, because that water comes from here to here on the outgoing. It comes this way, and it gets flushed past all these islands on the outgoing tide, man. And the incoming is this way. You know, this way is the way the incoming comes in.
All good spots.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's gonna get better and better as we get closer to spring.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I mean, this is the time of year, like another, I would say March, beginning of March, it's on. Like, there's fish for the rest of the year for sure. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's no like, I'm just been sitting in my room working out, thinking about fish.
Public landing is usually the ramp we're using.
I mean, I've gone out of Taylor's. I've gone out of George's. Public's got the nicest by far.
Depending how big a boat you have.
Depending out, if you got a small boat, man, I would. There's a lot
and
more.
Four-wheel drive.
There's a lot other spot. Like, dude, that's what's cool about our bay down here. Like that nobody really talks about, and that I really want to exploit the tour. Like, people should come down here and fish, man. It's so cool. Like, there's boat ramps all over the place. You got one on South Point. You got one up by you. What's that creek called?
And plenty of water.
Creek.
Marshall Creek. Yeah, South Point.
Yeah.
There's a bunch.
Yeah.
And
then you got George's Island. You got Taylor's. You got Public. You got
Girdle Tree.
Yeah, that's George's. Then you got Greenbackville.
Or Greenbackville. Yeah.
Then you got then you go to Virginia. You got
Chincoteague.
Chincoteague too. I mean, there's tons of boat ramps down here.
And there's
there's all free parking. If you live in Worcester, I think it's free parking.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't pay.
Most of the public boat ramps are.
But yeah, I mean, we're really pumped about this spring. This is the time of year I start getting super amped. I've actually just been trying to like will it into existence, but it's just not time yet. It's been so cold this year, and that kind of segues into like our next topic, like which. Man, the last year I had was 2015. There was the 2016 season, but 2015, 2016 was super cold, man.
I can pull that up. We can watch. Is it from this time?
Yeah, we have part of it. Yeah, we have it. That's not that. But keep going. I'll show it to you. But man, we had a super cold year in 2015, 2016 spring. And I honestly remember being like, man, I don't know about the tuna fishing this year. It's been so damn cold. I remember we got feet. I lived up in Harper County still then, and I remember we got feet and feet of snow that year. And dude, come Memorial Day weekend, dude, a freaking bomb of water. I'll show you if you come across it. That if you keep going, it's in this video.
Yeah,
it was a bomb of freaking water, man. That came in from the south, which is unusual for our eddies. Turn that volume down though. 100%.
Yeah, the volume is 100% down.
I don't want to hear it either. Oh. There we go. Yeah, that water came in from the south, which is highly unusual. Like, I usually look for eddies that come in from the east or like northeast, and this eddy was straight from the south, man. Like, and I was watching it before it got up to our area, and like I remember like the Gulf Stream and everything just blacking out. Like, it got really cloudy. I remember it got really windy. It was like the week before Memorial Day weekend, and it got really windy and really crappy out. Like, for a week, it was like rainy, 50s, 60s, raining, windy out, wind. We got a shot. It was like the middle, like, I want to say like the third week of May. And man, this bomb of water came straight off the Gulf Stream, like literally, like it was Gulf Stream water. It was Gulf Stream water. Gulf Stream water came off the Gulf Stream, but it separated. It didn't stay attached to the Gulf Stream. It bubbled off and made a big eddy, like the ones everybody have been used to seeing up in the Hudson the last 5 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it was a big bomb of water. It went from, like, once it got on the line, it went from the Washington to the poor man's. You know what I mean? It was a nice.
Stuck around a while.
But that was a rip rate. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to see that piece of water. But either way, the fishing was solid that year, and we had such a cold winter, man. So I mean, that's just like a glimmer of hope.
That was 2021. That shot.
What was
the shot we're looking at now?
Yeah, that was bluefin. We were out there, in May, and there was a nice piece of water outside the Baltimore in like 500 fathoms, and we got out to where the rip charts and everything. All the providers said it was. It was like said it was like 250, 300 fathoms. We're like, great, let's ride. Boom, get out there, 250. It's still cold as shit. We're not seeing any life. And my friend actually didn't have a temperature gauge. I didn't find this out until I got on the boat that morning. I was pissed off. But he didn't have a temperature gauge that worked. I was like, dude, how are we going to do this? I was like, thank God the water was that easy to tell. So I was like, once we started trolling around in like 200 fathoms, and I was doing everything. Like, they didn't know what the hell they were doing. And I was like, put everything out. And I look around. I'm like, dude, I'm not seeing any birds, any life, nothing. I'm like, let me run the boat. I'm like, so I get on the wheel, and I'm just like, I start heading straight east. I'm like, I'm going straight east till I see something. And I started looking around, dude, and I just saw that rip that was just on the screen. And I'm like, oh, there it is. So I stopped, and it was literally 50, like 1-ish to like 62-degree water. When I got back and looked, I didn't know at the time. That was the shot from 2000. Look, that was the shot, dude. That was the water, man. That water had so much of everything, man. That was
2016,
yeah,
15.
That was 16, I think. That should be. Yeah, I'm 99% sure it was. I want to say that. Yeah, 2016. What does it say on the button? Oh.
It doesn't say, but.
Yeah, dude, I'm positive though. But dude, that water came straight off the Gulf Stream. It looked blue. It looked like you were in the Bahamas, dude. Like blue, 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 blue. And it was stacked up with yellowfins, man. Stacked up with yellowfins. That was the color break. Like, dude, when you got out there, this was yellowfins. This was all yellowfins, big eyes, white marlin. No bluefins, people. This was all Pallade summertime. Eddie, like that.
And
that
what time
break,
of year was it?
It came in the Memorial Day weekend. It was good all of June. It was lights out all of June, as a matter of fact. But it was lights out from the week before Memorial Day weekend on. I remember Boss Hog went down there. It was the first boat that went down there that year. And I remember I was just waiting because my buddy went with him, Jason, and I was like waiting to hear back. I was like, dude, I wonder it's going to be loaded. I know it. They get back and they had like 24 yellowfins, and they're like, dude, it was all you wanted. And everyone was like, oh my God, it's time to go. So everybody got, I remember Memorial Day weekend down the Washington that year there was everybody. Everybody was there. It was 100 boats there.
Is that the same?
Yeah, that was the same piece of water. Everybody was fishing though that year, like out there early. It was awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's
awesome. It looks like an awesome piece of water.
I'm kind of prefacing to my next point. Like, that's my feeling for this year. Like, I have a feeling we're gonna get the Mid-Atlantic, southern canyons, not so much like Jersey, New York, and I could be wrong, but I think that Maryland's gonna get the better fish. Maryland, Delaware, southern Jersey,
Virginia, maybe.
Virginia
Beach.
Yeah, they run to our southern canyons, but yeah, we're gonna get the better fishing, I think, this year. Just based off of what I've been seeing with the weather. We're getting a lot of north winds this year. We haven't had a lot of north winds in the wintertime like this since I've lived down here, which is 5 years now. And since I've really been keeping track, I've been on the water pretty much. But like we haven't had any north years like where I can remember we've had these steady northerly winds, man.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And that's just my feeling. I have a feeling that it's gonna be good for our tuna fishing and our summertime fishery in the ocean. Now, as far as the bay, I don't know. I mean, I know there's people over there still catching specks and reds, so I feel like the fish made it.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's been too detrimental. I haven't seen too many videos. I haven't seen too many videos of like dead trout or dead reds or anything floating around from cold snaps. I have seen some videos like that coming out of Florida where people are, filming the dead fish floating around, snook and reds and trout and everything. But let's see if there's anything else here in this video. I've got some other cool shots we're going to go over from rip charts. Oh, yeah, so that was one of the pictures from that day out there. Quite the haul of tuna. Sure, Jeff could tell you more about it. But yeah, a bunch of yellowfins. And that water looked great if you saw. And, you know, that's the value of using these SST shots to to find fish.
That was Memorial Day weekend. That
all those fish.
That was until this.
So this was April.
That was April. Yeah, it was a real early bluefin. That water, I caught bluefin 2 weeks in a row in that water, but it was kind of broken up there. But I thought it was inshore of where it was, like where that arrow is. I fished that blue piece of water inside of here, like right there. Yeah, I fished it like right there, and it was like cold, and there wasn't any life. That was the original piece that like pushed in there, man, and it was full of everything. And we got bluefins in there in April.
But this is all just to show you guys, you know, how we have used it in the past to help and why it could be valuable to you, whether you learn how to do this yourself or use our service on our website, and we provide you with the SST analysis, exactly what we're using, where we're going.
And like I like to just look at, I mean, until now, now I've changed my opinion this winter, but I would start looking when you see like any sort of water that's Gulf Stream oriented or affiliated with the Gulf Stream that's warmer than the surrounding SST, I would start looking for bluefin. I mean, it's never too early now that I know what I know, you know.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, I'm probably not going to be starting to look for fish until May, just because I know it's a long season and I know the fishing just gets better. It's not any reason to, bust your nut early. I used to do that. I've done it every year. I still probably will this year,
No, it's, we start chomping at the bit and want to get out there.
I just keep going. I don't care. I go all year. I'll go.
I was going to say, we always
January,
go.
I get burnt out till January, and then by February, I'm ready to rock. I'm like a freaking, JoJo the Circus Boy, or whatever his name is.
Yeah. Someone said the red tide in Florida has been pretty bad, and I have seen some videos and pictures.
I actually saw some overhead footage of that. That stuff sucks, man. I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, I don't think there's anything you guys can do, really, either. It's like the fish kind of F's the fishing up,
Yeah, definitely plays a factor. Let's see here.
Yeah, that was a shot where, that was just really hard to find that water that day.
I can pull up some other shots we have here.
But like, yeah, I sent you that one stupid video. That's not stupid. It's actually, it's like, it was a weird piece of water I was fishing, man. Like, everybody else was fishing like the warm stuff up north. There's like in the Baltimore and Wilmington and everything. There's like, even down in the poor man's, there was like a big piece of warm water, and it was pretty blue. But there was like this big like bubble of like colder blue water. And when I say cold, it wasn't that cold. Hold on, I want to talk about this real quick. Go back to that picture.
This was both from around the July 6th.
So out where you circled this, that was that water out to the east that all those boats were running to that were catching those big yellowfins. I caught mine in that same piece of water, but it had moved down. It was in like 500 fathoms in the Washington then. But that was where Brendan like doubled up on those big, 160, 180 yellowfins.
Mm-hmm.
Shambo had one. A couple boats had them out there.
And that's on our report on our website.
Yeah.
I could go back and pull up also.
I went down, because he fished, it was like a Monday he fished, and then like I was fishing like Wednesday or Thursday, and by Wednesday or Thursday that water had moved from deep Baltimore.
Well, we might have more here.
To like 500 fathoms Washington, and that's not.
So that was July 8th, the bluefin. July 12th, the bluefin. And then this was July 17th. So this was, the water had already moved past Washington by this point.
This was when I caught that water, that blue water, that little tiny piece of blue water right here had just slid through the Washington, and it was still kind of blue in the Washington, but everybody was, dick banging up in the Baltimore and Wilmington, like tons and tons of boats. So me and Alex were like, F it, let's just go to the Washington that day. And we just went down to the Washington. Not because we had any intel or because anybody, the water looked great. It was just because I didn't want to go around a bunch of other boats. And, dude, it paid off that day, man. Like, the Washington actually had a bunch of life. We caught 6 yellowfins too that day, and a mahi or 2 mahis too.
Yeah, so that was
a big eye. Yeah,
good day. And
and then we were home early too. It was like the people we were fishing with were like, "Well, we're going in. Let's go." You know?
Yeah, can't beat that.
So yeah, I mean, it wasn't even the water related that day. It was just I didn't want to go around a bunch of other boats. And then actually, if you go back to that SST, that's when that bite developed on the lumpy bottom. After that,
down here,
no, up right past inside the Washington right here. All this blue. All that blue right there, all those tunas came inshore or whatever. I mean, I don't know what happened, but I know tunas came inshore, and they were in that blue piece of water there. They were holding in that blue piece of water that on that north side right there, on the lumpy bottom for like 2 weeks. But I mean, once it was like when the boats were there, nobody caught them. When there wasn't boats there, you caught fish. Like it was hard to catch them when there was a ton of boats there. But I mean, it's the name of the game. It's what makes it all this fun, like.
Yeah, this was August 14th.
That was when we caught the big eye. So we took the boat. Thank God we're in Sunset this year. We were still in Greenbackville then, and we ran from Greenbackville to the Wilmington, which was like a total
90 miles one way.
From the inlet was 90 miles, wasn't it?
From Chincoteague.
Yeah, so from Chincoteague Inlet
to the
Wilmington was 90 miles, and then Greenbackville to Chincoteague Inlet's 13 or 11, I think.
Yeah. So let's say 100 miles there easily.
Yeah.
And then we came back through Ocean City, which was, at least 50 miles to the Wilmington, if not 60.
Yeah, it's fair. It's like 72, I think, to the Wilmington.
Yeah, so round trip was like a 200-mile day by the time we got back to Greenbackville from Ocean City Inlet.
Yeah,
but it was well worth it because we got that big
paid off. But I mean, you see that water? Go back to that water real quick. Like that water had just slid into the Wilmington, and there was a consistent. No, I shouldn't say consistent, but the Wilmington held what bite we did have this year. Let's say that offshore for tunas. If you were tuna fishing, most of the fish were caught up in the Wilmington, the big eyes, the yellowfins. I did find them in June and July to the south. They were down to the south in that piece. They were holding in that blue water that was cooler. It was cooler down there to the south, believe it or not, than it was to the north. And they were holding in that water to the south. But everybody was tuned in on this really beautiful. I mean, I would be too. Like I just didn't want to run that far, That was really why.
And that was a hike from Greenbackville.
Unless it was like lights out, I wasn't running up to the Wilmington, And the only reason I ran to the Wilmington is because I knew Remo was going up that night, and the bite was on. I knew that there was a bunch of big eyes around, and I just knew if you put your time in and you stick it out, and what I've learned with this big eye, that people ask me all the time, they're like, what's the secret to catching big eyes versus yellowfins? There isn't one. Just stay around where you're catching the yellowfins. The big eyes are with the yellowfins for the most part, if you're over 100 fathoms. But like, my best advice is just work the contours. Like if you really, really want to catch big eyes and you're hard on big eyes, like you got to study the topography of the canyons. You got to look at the walls of the canyons. You can't be fishing some bitch freaking little slope that's like this, man. You want like freaking edges, man. And like that's my best advice is fishing hard edges on the canyons, like and the east walls tend to hold the deeper. I mean, I'm sorry, not the deeper, the steeper, drop offs, in my opinion. I'm not my opinion. It's the facts. The facts around our canyons are all the deeper waters on the east side. I mean, the steeper slopes are on the east side. And that's my best advice. Fish in the east walls, Don't be afraid to fish if you're seeing life out in the middle or you're seeing life on the west wall. But, like, if you're just strictly big eye fishing and you're, work the structure, man. Work the structure. If there's whales around, there's birds flying around, and there's bait. You're marking tunas down deep. Stay in the area and work it if you're big eye fishing. If you're not, if you're yellowfin fishing, you may want to move on if the fish are deep. But If you're big eye fishing, you just got to be there when they come up. Like those fish come up during the day for maybe a half hour. I don't even know. I don't even know this fact, but they don't come up long, and you got to be there. You got to be there when they come up. They always come. They like to come up right before dark, and they like to come up early in the morning, like 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 4 to 6 in the morning, 3:30 to 6 in the morning. Like they love that too. But I know captains and I know people, my friends. I have not. My earliest bite was 4:15 in the morning. But I know people have caught them all night. You know, on a full moon, or like a bright night. Caught them all night. I've actually been with Brendan one time. We caught a yellowfin at like 11 o'clock at night. Man, it was crazy.
Yeah, the big eyes are wild.
Yeah, the tunas will eat at night. They don't care. But yeah, I my best advice for big eye: work the structure. If you got life in the area, don't be so tuned in on the boats or like where the boats are. Like just work the contours, man. Work the good edges. I like to look at those. If you see those lobster pots, man, they're not only freaking, like I tell people all the time, like I don't care about the mahi underneath these lobster pots. I don't give a flying F about them actually. But the structure underneath of them, because where they are, that's what I care about. That's why I'm trolling near them. It's not when you see me out near the lobster pots, I ain't trolling for mahi. Like you'll see me, I'm on the lobster pots that are on the edges, dude. They're on the freaking drop-offs. That's why the lobster pots are there, you know. And that's one of my best advice. Work the structure hard. Fish that structure. Study those freaking topography maps, man. Be familiar with the canyon when you go out there. Like, all right, this east wall is the Wilmington's got those couple notches. Like, I want to work those couple notches in the Wilmington hard. Like, whatever. Like, have a little bit of a plan. Have a backup plan. Have a backup plan after that. Like, that's my best advice. You know?
Mason said, "Have you ever chunked for spring bluefin?"
Chunked for spring bluefin? No. What does he mean?
He just said, "Have you ever tried chunking for spring bluefin?"
What time? No, I have not actually. The earliest I ever chunk usually is July. Like I'll like sometimes in July I'll start chunking. Like, but it all depends.
Could be worth a shot though, depending on the conditions.
I
Yeah,
don't know
you
if
never
I would
know.
do that. Like
Depends on the situation.
You could, but I think you're better off this time of year running and gunning in the spring. I think you're better off running and gunning and looking around and finding them because they're all herded up. Like, and they're moving. They're not like, I don't know. I find, and somebody could tell me I'm wrong, but I find that in the spring they like to cruise that 100 line. Like they don't like to come inshore as much, you know. So and they're moving. I've seen them out there in April and May. I haven't been out there earlier than May and seen them. Been out there earlier than May. I haven't seen them earlier than May. I'm sure they're there, or earlier than April. I'm sure they're there earlier in April. I haven't been out and seen them earlier in April. Other people I'm sure have, but like I think they cruise that 100 line in the spring, and I think they're working north. And I've seen them, and when they're moving, man. Like they're ripping. They're not hanging around. I think you're better off like trying to if you're into not troll, if you don't want to troll for them, you're better off like throwing stuff at them when you come across them, because like you'll see them on the surface in the spring, because like you get that warm air, that sun heating up that top layer of water. They'll start like sunbathing on the surface in the spring. Like you'll see them come up and like just rolling, and like just like kind of like they're having fun. I mean, I've seen them when they're not even eating anything. They're just coming up and just like chilling, and but they're moving. They're not hanging around. But when you get in front of them and troll in front of them or throw something in front of them, they eat it. But that's just my opinion. You could try chunking for them, but I don't know how productive that would be in the spring. I feel like chunking is for when fish are set up somewhere. So when a fish is set up on the Hot Dog, when a fish is set up in the Washington Canyon, when a fish is set up in the Hudson Canyon, when a fish is set up inside the Hudson Canyon, that Hudson County Valley, like all those spots in there, like the Glory Hole and all that crap up there. Like when those fish are set up in those areas, like in July, they're coming in there because they're on structure, they're on bait inside, and they're on a lump in there. They're hanging around that lump. They're hanging around that lump because there's bait hanging on that lump, and there's consistently bait on that lump. Those fish are there. They're moving around. That's where they're going for the summer, so to speak. They're not, migrating any further north.
Yeah, he said he's just seen a lot of guys in Jersey have success with it, but never really seen anyone down here do it.
Chunking works great in the summer and the fall, man. I've caught plenty of bluefin chunking inshore, 20 fathoms in July. I'm sorry, in July, in Ocean City. But I've never tried it in the spring. Every time I've come across them in the spring, man, every rod's went down. I've caught freaking 15 up to 100, as many as you want, until your arms are sick of reeling them in. You catch them. They're loaded up in the spring, so like chunking's too much work when there's that many fish around. In my opinion, like when you could just throw out whatever, you could throw out a piece of broccoli in the spring when you see these fish on the surface like that, and they're gonna eat it, man. Like you could catch them with whatever. But that was at the hot dog. That water was blue. That was some blue water.
That was the shots that had been on the screen for a while there. But
yeah, man, I get off this shit. I love it, man. When was that from?
Yeah, this was right before that trip.
What? That one?
Yeah.
You see all that water pushed in?
In here, here, all in here, and this edge in here.
Yeah, which the fishing got like. I mean, I shouldn't say consistent, but there was a bite. There's a bite inshore of the Baltimore.
This was
and the
September
Wellington.
21st, so it's like
all of September, like. The guys that were fishing every day were getting at least a couple fish. Some days they were banging them up.
Blue water all inshore here.
I mean, that's why you can see like that blue water up there was really pushed in the fall this year. I mean, and that water, that's probably what led to our great bluefin fishing too this year. Like all that water that was in there holding all that bait in the fall. In the early fall, late summer, stayed inside there all year, Yeah. That bait probably just stayed with that body of water. I mean, I don't know. Could have.
It seemed like it.
Yeah, very, very, definitely seemed like it.
That was just a recent shot from just a random
When
one.
was that from?
That was from the other day. It's that water down in the Carolinas.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. But this is not like anything new to me.
No.
Anybody that's been in the tuna world for any sort of time knows that they just absolutely murder the big bluefins every year down in North Carolina this time of year.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't even matter what the water looks like, man. That's where these fish want to be,
Yeah. Well, I just can't. All I can pull up is the last 7. Well, I guess I could technically go back, and this was just 3-day composite. I was seeing what
like
they had.
They literally, I've talked to Phil, and I agree with him, man. Like, he's like, those fish, like, if they're not on the point this time of year, he's like, wait 2 days and they'll be back. He's like, they just circle around down there. And I think they do. I think he's right. I think they do, too. I think they just freaking make big circles down there in that loop of water down there because you get that cold current coming from the north and you get that southerly Gulf Stream current. And it kind of just makes an eddy down there by south of the Norfolk all the time. And it just spins and spins and spins. And I think these fish just freaking spin around in it.
But this is still at least a decent shot to show you guys how valuable rip charts can be. If we were down there right now fishing, I'd be like, oh, look at this piece coming in right here on the 100 line.
That looks
There's
like
a
that
nice
water.
edge all through here.
That in April, didn't we? Is that April?
No, this is February 10th, 2025.
That water does that all the time down there. See how it just like eddies off from the cold current from the north because it's like eddies off right there below the Norfolk.
Yeah, this is
a lot of times it'll just spin down there for a couple days and just get reabsorbed. It doesn't actually do anything,
Yeah, well, I'm sure these guys in Carolina are fishing this 100 line, right?
Yeah, they're probably fishing the point, man. Like
right down here. Yeah. Well, look how good it looks down there too. It looks great.
And that's just where those fish want to be, dude. It's like typically where the Gulf Stream and the Labrador Current meets up this time of year. I was on that point, dude. It can be off a little bit, but generally speaking, it's very, very close. Like that's where the fish are,
Yep.
and that's where they want to be. And until the water starts, until the sun, in my opinion, it's like the UV, not so much the temperature around, but like once the UV starts getting stronger, that's what heats up the water. That's when the fish start migrating. It's like they feel those days getting longer. When we get those, start getting those much longer days, that's when the fish, in my opinion, feel it. And they're like, all right, like let's roll back. Like let's start heading north. Let's start going back to our summer grounds. And they just feel, I feel like that's when the water is the most, conditionally right for them to start migrating. It's like when the water, if it does get cold somewhere, they still have the sunlight, to kind of protect them from that, so to speak.
Yep. And Landon, this is the only shot I have from that water that was in the Baltimore where they were catching the marlin at like the dump site in late summer. This one was July 31st. You can kind of see it out here. And then this is August 14th, so it had changed a bit, but it's still blue out there.
But that water out there,
500 to 1,000 fathoms.
That blue water stayed out there all year. Like that. Yep. That's kind of why our tuna fishing never got very good. It's because we never got really nice pieces of blue water pushing up on our line. But
the marlin were out there.
The marlin were out there. But even then, like I know that all the marlin boats want to chase them. But like I know if that blue water pushes up on the 100, those marlin are going to be there too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But yeah, I don't think I have. Yeah, that's the only other real shot, and then the big eye. But it was the same blue water.
Yeah, that was all that blue out there. All those marlin boats were fishing. They were running out there. They were running. That's where it stayed all year. That's where the blue water stayed all year.
And if you guys have any other questions in the chat, feel free to toss them up. I can let me look through real quick and see if I can find anything else cool.
Yeah, I mean the big thing was just like the weather, like this year.
Yeah.
What were those marks? Go back to those marks. They drew my attention.
Those are bluefin.
Who cares? I want to see them. Looks bad. It's porn to us. Oh, dude, that's a herd, dude. That's a herd.
Yeah, that was one of the days we had some pretty good marks.
What are they doing?
I don't know, but definitely some good marks.
Dude, I had so many marks from like that. See how warm the water was still too? 62. Yeah. I love looking back on that stuff, though. I think they were sea bass or bait or something there. They could have been tunas.
You never know. Let me see what else I have here.
There's some
marks. They're all right. I was going to go back to summer stuff where we have like shots we can pull up to, but
yeah.
Those are some of the ones we just showed.
Oh, you got that? Well, yeah, you got stuff. Whatever. Well, go back. Hold on. Go back down. What was this? Go back. What was this right there?
That's a Rolf's image, I think.
I just wanted to see what the water, everything looked like at that point. When was that?
That was July 19th.
July 19th. Yeah, look at us. We have nothing. It's like, bleh.
Mm-hmm.
Look, the Hudson, it's just got smoke with that big eddy. Complete separation from the Gulf Stream. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, that wraps up our fishing season right there.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, see, the Wilmington was getting a little like that spin. They were getting a little piece of the water when they get a spin of water down there.
And that deep water in the Baltimore where the marlin were.
Yeah, that's what. Yep.
Let me see what else we got here. And yeah, like I said, feel free to fire away questions in the chat if you have any. There's another big picture.
Look, that was still, like, they have all the shit. They got it all.
Yep.
It was just not our year, man. Like, it was tough for us. We had a tough year.
But you can see in the tip of this filament or eddy here in the depths of the Baltimore. Explains why.
Yeah.
Some of those marlin were there, and a few tuna did make it into here, and all down in here. Lumpy bottom up to the hot dog. And,
we had like a couple of these filaments.
This was July 5th, so this is a little earlier. It could also be why you got the bluefin in here. If you
look down here, there's like this little. See that little deeper orangish to yellow?
Yeah.
Like that was kind of what we were fishing down there. Like that little lighter, like the.
Well, this was July 5th, was right before the tuna tournament, so that was when you got those bluefin too, right?
Yeah, that was inshore.
In here somewhere.
Or is that 12?
Yep. Or probably more like up here. But it's cool looking back, like you said.
Yeah, you can really see where that offshore water is pushing up into the inshore water there.
Mm-hmm.
Like really close to land even, Like that's where I would be looking for bluefins that time of year.
Someone said this is going to be a good year, right?
I'm
hoping. That's what we're hoping.
Yeah,
we're hoping
it's going to be.
It's seeming like this year is going to be a good year.
I think the cold, like a really cold year like this is like just a really good reset for everything. And I feel like that's kind of what we have been having is like these just like mild winters that haven't really been getting like our ocean temperatures really cold and like delineating from like coastal to like Gulf Stream water, and it's just blending really much quicker. Like, I mean, you saw those images in July, man. There's still huge temperature breaks up there in the Hudson, man. That's like what we've had in the past in Ocean City, like in July, like we have that. But it's just the temperatures have been trending. The winds have been trending from the south recently. And in my opinion, I think that's a lot more why you're seeing the better fishing up in New York, New Jersey. And this year, I think, is going to be a little different for them and us because I think we've gotten a lot more north winds this year. And I think it's changing the ocean currents a little bit around. And I think it's to our I think we're going to be the benefactors in the Mid-Atlantic, of that.
There was that first yellowfin.
Yeah, we chased that motherfucker down. We lost another one. I tied a bad knot. I was so pissed at myself. I don't know what I was thinking.
And there's a little shot of the piece of the water.
Yeah, that's a badass piece. That was blue water. That was like the first water. Like I remember.
Did we go to Washington?
No,
or did we go to
catching in the Poor Man's.
Yeah.
It was like the first fish of the year.
Big blue chunk.
That water wasn't that blue though. It was like rip charts did not do that right. Like the color. Like it was more like that blue, like up in what it's reading up in the Hudson.
Mm-hmm. There's another shot of that water in where we got the yellowfin. Oh.
Yeah, that's like kind of where they first started showing up. They were jumping all over the place. Nobody could really catch them. They were just jumping everywhere, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Hundreds of them. It's like as far as the eye could see.
That was awesome.
Yellowfins jumping. It's like, why will not these fish? You know what though? It's like once I saw them on those mackerel. That's when I started murdering them. Is when they started eating those mackerel to the south. I don't know if it was just different down there, or whatever. But yeah, it's a whole different story. But that's a cover. That was down to the south. Woo! Put that on. That'll get you pumped up.
Yeah, I don't know if there's sound, but
yeah, I love that shit, man. It gets me so excited.
That's 4 on.
Covered up. Hopefully that's what's going down this summer.
I love it, man.
What's your go-to flatline baits? Do you use divers? We talked about that with Remo too.
I don't really run divers too much, man.
Sometimes on the flatline, once in a blue moon if we want to mix it up.
But I don't ever really.
Usually it's a slow day when we're like, oh, let's try something different.
Honestly, it's not me. I run my same spread every time. It's somebody else in my boat that's like, oh, let's freaking do this. And I'm like, all right, whatever you want to do. Like, they'll eat it if you see it. But I really think I just like ballyhoos on the flat lines. It's like heavier heads, like 3-ounce heads on the flat lines. You can even go heavier if you run them in close, if it's just an enclosed bait. But I just like the way 3-ounce runs offshore. But either way, I like to run my flat lines super close to the boat and we're either running a ballyhoo with a skirt or we're putting like a daisy chain out there, like something that's got some action. And we're putting it, when I say right behind the boat, I mean I'm putting it 15, 20 feet tops behind the boat. I'm not putting it far out at all, like really close. You can't have it too close because if it'll work. It'll work. They'll eat it. I've had them eat them out of the outriggers when they're dangling there.
Chad, he said they were keyed in on small bait, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they were. It was tough getting them on that small bait stuff.
I didn't even realize we could see the chat there. That's cool.
Yeah, that is, because then I can see.
Yeah.
Great. But yeah, this is
What else do we have pulled up here? Oh, that was Trump talking about shutting down the windmills.
Hold on. Get some chips. I gotta get some chips.
Let's see what he said. I don't think that'll get us demonetized as the president.
Do what?
I said I don't think that's going to be a copyright issue. It's the president.
What?
If we listen to what he says about windmills. But it's not even loading, so maybe that's a sign not to.
These things are good.
But yeah, hopefully that was some helpful information for you guys. And if you don't want to learn to use the rip charts yourself or a similar software app company, you can always get on our website where we'll have everything laid out for you. And we have our in-depth reports. You can go back in time and look at all the reports from last year and line them up. And then we got the YouTube channel too, where we're always giving out free nuggets of information. Live streams like this where we're giving out information. And yeah, we want to do more live Q&As and have more guests. Like we had Remo on last time, and that was cool.
I want to keep having people talk. I mean, we gotta get Clay Ducks on here too.
And if you didn't see that episode with Remo, go back and you can rewatch that. And that was a good one. He had a lot of good information in there. And yeah, we want to have all kind of people coming on, jumping on with us.
Yeah, it'll be cool, man. But either way, I think we're gonna sign off here because I'm getting hungry. I've been lifting, so I'm like I can't stop eating.
Yeah, and I mean we've been a good hour on here. We appreciate everybody joining along for the live stream. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're gonna keep it rocking. I promise you guys. You're not going to be disappointed with our content. We're going to keep it.
Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff coming. And snow video coming out, too.
This is a rebuild. This is a rebuild time of year. Get everything ready to rock for the year. It's not a busy part of, from what I've seen.
Fishing-wise.
This is not a busy time for fishing.
But we are going to
recuperate, get all your stuff ready to go. Get ready to rock,
When will you guys fish the bays too? We're going to fish the bay. I mean, the bay fishing for striper is only going to get better and better. Yeah. We're going to be doing that definitely, as something to do between now and summer or springtime because that fishery pretty much, the trout will be here by April or May, and then we'll switch over to those. But from now till then, it'll be striper, and they'll be here any day.
Taylor and I had our best weekends. Striper-wise, late
end of
March,
February,
early
beginning of
April,
March,
on the water.
Oh, yeah.
From our point, my point.
Right.
Yeah.
And, we had the good trout days, too, for sure.
Trout was later. Trout was, late April.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, we'll be doing that. But we'll also have, my point was some videos coming with tackle, gear, what we're doing to get ready for the season, boat maintenance, a little bit of everything. Some behind-the-scenes stuff, and of course we'll film if we go striper fishing too, or catch some fish from the bank or the boat.
I'm hoping we bang up here soon, and we can show you guys that.
Yeah, the weather's just been inconsistent. It keeps getting hard, cold and making it tricky.
That's what tells me the fish aren't here yet. It's just inconsistent weather still,
Yeah, they're not pushed in the spots we like to fish anyways. If they're here, they're somewhere else, out in the deep water. But yeah,
thank you guys.
Thanks for joining us, and we will see you on the next live stream. And,
be looking for our video. Dave and I are going to work the rest of the week on getting the video done. Be looking for our video, too.
Yep.